Ben Jordan, and profession's a hard question, but I'm a problem solver, and I use digital means to do that, so design, develop. But I say problem solver. That's my answer. You've got to identify who you are and the personality of your brand. And so I think scale is always like a day one question for me, because you want to know how big you want to get, but it's this self-evaluation of who am I, who's my brand, who are we trying to be, and those all draw important conclusions that become kind of the first steps. Like, what do we name ourselves? What are we going to look like? Where do we start? What do we do? But I think the one thing I see that people aren't doing is identifying who they really are and being able to defend that. It's overused, but it's the elevator pitch, right? You've got to know succinctly and passionately what you're doing and be able to tell people that. It's super important. I think that's where you have to start. If what you're doing isn't going to make the world a better place, and it doesn't have to be global, like presidential better place, but if the world doesn't need what you're doing, then you shouldn't do it. You should find something. And I think that passion pocket with the elevator pitch only matters if you know it, and not know it from like, I can recite these words, but if you know it, it's like, I'm doing this. You talk to a chef about why his menu is the way it is, or you talk to an artist about her exhibit, they'll tell you why they did, why they created, how they got there. And I think you have to know that. And too many people go through naming and finding a domain, and we're going to be read, and they come up with all these things, but they still don't know who they are. And so it's the identity crisis. And I think that I hate the word because it's so overused, but the elevator pitch really is like your first date. It's introduce yourself, right? It's your first impression, and it has to be passionate, and you have to believe it. Like, people have to sense that. And if you can get there, in my experience, everybody gets to the next step faster when you know where you're going, right? You define this wildly important goal, and then you can define waypoints on how to get there. And that's, to me, what you have to do.